Hi, welcome back to Not So Radical. I'm your host, Peter, and today we're talking about Biden funding crack pipes. Yes, you heard me correctly. Now, yesterday I came across a few tweets and a few articles talking about Biden apparently funding $30 million for crack pipe distribution. I immediately said there's no way this can be true. But this article here on Breitbart, apparently the whole thing started with the American Rescue Plan. It would provide the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services funding to carry out the multi-million-dollar grant program. Now, it would go to drug users in undeserved communities are prioritized to receive the funding, and the undeserved communities they talk about are referred to Black, Latino, LGBTQ, and other minority groups who have been adversely affected by persistent poverty and inequality. Now, the grant encourages funds to be spent on safe smoking kits, supplies, among other things. An HHS spokesperson told the Washington Free Beacon that the pipes for users to smoke crack cocaine, crystal meth, and other illicit substances are included in these kits. Now, there's also syringes, safe sex kits, as well as the harm reduction vending machine, which I guess just hands out paraphernalia. Now I'm not sure in a poverty stricken neighborhood. Usually, there's a lot of crime surrounding drugs, a lot of drug use in those communities. So enabling those people to use their drugs easier with free needles and free pipes and drug kits, I don't I don't know how that's going to better the community or provide some racial equity or help fix racial inequality or just help the poverty in that community. It makes no sense. I mean, just look at the Democrat strongholds like San Francisco, Seattle that have implemented programs such as needle exchanges, as safe injection sites, as just open air drug use policies where they get a minor misdemeanor or a citation for openly injecting themselves or smoking drugs out in public, which has only made the situation worse in California in those areas as well as Washington. Now, apparently today, something came out that apparently about the free crack pipes isn't entirely true. They said the Health and Human Services said that the report is blatant misinformation, but they didn't deny that they weren't giving out crack pipes. They just said it was misinformation. So who entirely knows what's going on? We never know with the government. But the grant under Biden's executive order 13985, titled Advancing Racial Equity and Support for Undeserved Communities through the Federal Government, is said to support community based overdose prevention programs, syringe service programs, and other harm reduction services. Now, the information outlined in the program, part of the funding can be used to purchase supplies such as safe smoking kits and FDA approved overdose reversal medication. Now, the overdose reversal medication is a great thing, it helps save many lives, but then providing with safe smoking kits, you say crack pipes aren't included, but what else would you put in a safe smoking kit? A lighter, um, maybe something to test your drugs. I've read about those going around. There's not much else besides maybe slipping a crack pipe in there. But there's way better ways of helping people by rehabilitation centers, therapy. They're just medical services, not enabling these people to go out and just use drugs freely and without repercussions, or just putting that money into stopping and getting the drugs off the street. Now I have a photo here. This is a safe injection kit. Now we have needles here, syringes, needle tips, just syringes. They even get sterile water, cups. I guess they can put their drugs in there, and uh, I guess that's how they dissolve stuff when you see in the movies with the lighter, the spoon, or whatever. Uh, Ascorbic acid help. Oh, nice. The gave you something to help break down your crack and your heroin for your injection. Alcohol swabs. We don't. We want to be safe and clean while using those dirty drugs. With all those chemicals. But even a tourniquet, a little, pictures, so you know how to use it. And then I mean, you see them everywhere. If you go to some of these poverty-stricken areas they talk about, you'll see needles and drug paraphernalia litter the ground in some areas. It's sad. It's something needs to be done about it instead of just giving out drug paraphernalia, I should say, for free and enabling these drug users. Now, this is a safe injection site. They have like it's like a one-way mirror. A doctor can watch you from, the other side. You can get your supplies up here, mix up your drugs, test your drugs, do your drugs, and somebody's watching in case you overdose while you're charging your phone and doing drugs. Now, I can't imagine how much this costs the taxpayer because these people obviously aren't um the most well-funded people at this time, but I have to pay $200 a month for my Asthma-X inhaler because I only have decent insurance, not the best insurance. But these people just get needles, syringes, all kinds of medical supplies for free to enable an illegal habit. It's upside down. It's crazy. And even if they're not supplying crack pipes, like I said before, they're funding these drug users in many other ways to keep them drug users, to keep them in that state and not really help these people. But I mean, if I'm getting something wrong, please feel free to go down in the comments and explain to me why you do or do not support these programs from the Biden administration. But that's all I have for today. And stay safe. And don't forget your free crack pipe.